Welcome to the show, everybody. This is Direct Sports Daily. I'm your host, George Bennett. And today, we're going to be talking about teams I fully expect to make it back to the playoffs. These are my locks for this year. Now, we've gone over teams I expect to surprise and make the playoffs that didn't last year. We've gone over teams I expect to disappoint that made it last year and won't this year. This is teams that made it last year and will be back next year. Now let's start off with the obvious, the New England Patriots. I think at this point it'd be pretty foolish to pick against the Patriots. I think they're averaging at least 11 or 12 wins a year in the past decade, and they are returning the greatest player of all time in Tom Brady. And after the most epic Super Bowl comeback we've ever seen, they've only gone out and made that team better. You're getting Rob Gronkowski back. You got rid of LeGarrette Blount, but you added Rex Burkhead and also a Mike Gillislee to that backfield. James White was probably actually the MVP of the last Super Bowl, but you could not give it to Tom Brady. You got Dion Lewis, who probably won't even make the roster. That's how talented this team is. You lose Martellus Bennett in the offseason. You replace him with a Dwayne Allen. You go out and you trade for Brandon Cooks to add to your receiving crew. And Brandon Cooks may very well be the most talented wide receiver Tom Brady's had since Randy Moss. And we all remember how that went. You had Stephon Gilmore to that secondary and somehow still hang on to Malcolm Butler, although there was talk all season about getting rid of him. It sounds like he's been made happy. He's at least dealing with the situation. I don't think he's going to move. Re-signed Dante Hightower. I don't see anybody stopping the Patriots from winning it all again. So, obviously, I have them as one of my locks for the playoffs. Another team I have as a lock for the playoffs, who may end up being the team that gets the honor to lose to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. But the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers, what else is there to say about him at this point? The debates are going to rage on once Aaron Rodgers is all said and done with his career about who is the better Packers quarterback between him and Brett Favre. And at this point, I don't even know, and that's crazy to even think about when you consider all of Brett Favre's accomplishments. It seems like I don't know how the Packers could be so lucky to have two of the all-time greats back-to-back like that. And at one point, they were on the same team for about 3 years. Just think about that. Rodgers sat on the bench for a solid 3 years. Maybe it was 2. I don't recall, but yeah, that defense can't get much worse. So I think Clay Matthews and the boys, you gotta step up. I mean, they can't possibly have as many injuries in the secondary as they did last year. I think that secondary led by Sam Shields, they'll get it together. And Clay Matthews in the pass rush, it'll be there much better than it was this past season. But we'll see with that. The offense, you add Martellus Bennett at tight end. I think that upgrades you a bit. Devontae Adams finally lived up to his potential last season. So, along with Jordy Nelson, I don't see Jordy Nelson taking a significant step back because his game was never predicated on blazing speed or acceleration or anything like that, or quickness. It was always route running and just him and Aaron Rodgers having that rapport, and just knowing the game on such a high level of football IQ and things of that nature. Randall Cobb, I think he can bounce back next season. I mean, if he doesn't, I think there's enough weapons in that offense to make up the difference. Ty Montgomery, you got him. He's going to be a full-time running back now, so he's going to have more experience with the position. I only see him getting better. Obviously, coming over from the wide receiver position, he's going to be one of the best pass-catching backs in the NFL. So, and you also drafted the rookie. I can't remember if they got Joe Williams or Jamal Williams. I've been getting these mixed up, and I think everyone has, because when you got rookies with that similar of a name, I believe they have Jamal Williams. Regardless of what his name is, I think he's gonna go out there and provide a great spell and a good compliment to Ty Montgomery. Along with the Packers and Patriots, I think another team that will be playing in January is the Atlanta Falcons. Now, the Atlanta Falcons, the offense, I think, certainly takes a step back. Not because of the loss of Kyle Shanahan and the addition of Steve Sarkisian. I think it's just that historic pace they set last year. I don't think they can keep that up this year. For everyone in that offense to have career seasons again, I think is asking a bit much. But at the same time, you do have so many weapons and playmakers out there. You're still going to have probably the best offense in the NFL. And for me to pick the Falcons to not make the playoffs, it would mean I would have to be saying the fall off of their offense would not be augmented by an uptick in their defense. And I think the Falcons had one of the worst defenses in the NFL last season. They still were able to achieve what they were able to achieve. Their defense has nowhere to go but up, similar to the Packers in that regard. So I see them taking a step forward defensively, a step back offensively, and the two, I don't see the uptick in the defense being smaller than the step back by the offense. So I think those two sort of cancel each other out, and you still have one of the best teams in the NFL. And I really love the Gatorade commercial I just saw today that features Matt Ryan. And it ends with Matt Ryan, but it features Michael Jordan, Serena Williams, and it's all about how defeat fuels you. And I feel like if Matt Ryan takes that sort of approach to this next season, I think he's definitely going to be something to be reckoned with, so to speak. But obviously that's just a commercial for Gatorade. But I thought it was a very interesting take. A lot of those ads are like based on winners. You expect like Tom Brady is in there and whatnot, but like defeat is not a word that a lot of advertisers and marketers would suggest using. But I think it was very bold. So just a little side note there. The next team I fully expect to make it back to the playoffs is the Oakland Raiders. This team, I think sky's the limit for them. You're adding beast mode. I think he's going to give you at least what Latavius Murray gave you last season. And Derek Carr's coming back. You just gave him the big contract in the offseason. And typically, like a lot of players you'll see in those contract years, when they're trying to get new contracts, they'll sort of like overperform like what we normally see from them. But that usually isn't the case with quarterbacks. They usually like sort of the stability and continuity of keeping things together, and like it's sort of like that sort of lifts a weight off them. So I can definitely see Derek Carr even playing better than he did last year. I mean, his career is just taking such an opposite track compared to his older brother David. They were pretty far apart in age too. I think there might be like a 12-year age difference there or something like that. But Derek Carr, he's definitely going to lead that team along with Khalil Mack. The Raiders are definitely not. I don't know what that was. The Raiders are definitely not the team that we laughed about like after that Super Bowl thrashing to the Buccaneers over a decade ago. But moving on to the last team I fully expect to be back in the playoffs, the Seattle Seahawks. That offensive line can't get much worse, and that's the theme of a lot of these teams. They're only going to improve certain aspects because some of these teams had glaring flaws last season and were somehow able to overcome them. And the Seattle Seahawks had a lot of them. Between the Russell Wilson injury, that horrendous offensive line, the fact that Thomas Rawls couldn't get going until late in the season. Actually, he really didn't get going until he played against the Lions, but that's neither here nor there. You got a Super Bowl winning culture in Seattle right now. You still got the Legion of Boom fully intact. You're gonna get all those guys back healthy next season. The Richard Sherman trade rumors, those never came to fruition in any way, but I think he handled that whole situation very professionally, and I think everything's going to come back, and you're going to see a very solid Seattle Seahawks football team. Jimmy Graham, he came back to life last season, so if you get him, Tyler Lockett, along with Doug Baldwin going in that passing game, Thomas Rawls, and you get CJ Prosise back. He showed flashes last year before he got hurt. This is a Seahawks team I could definitely see making some noise for the Falcons and Packers in the playoffs. But those are the 5 teams: Seahawks, Packers, Falcons, Patriots, and Raiders. Yeah, I remembered them all this time. But I want to thank everybody for watching and listening. This has been Direct Sports Daily. I've been George Bennett, and I'll see you next time.
And if you liked that video, check out some of our others. And to keep up with all the latest uploads from Direct Sports Daily, hit the subscribe button.